Hello lovely stitchy friends, I'm Kat and I'm delighted to welcome you to my channel, Catkin and Lillie, where we talk all things cross stitch. And today, as you might have guessed, we stitch cross stitch because I'm going to do a stitch with me with this lovely new whip, so that's work in progress that I have. This is my brand new Long Dog sampler, which I'm very excited to share all the details with you and share a little bit of stitching. But actually, the big reason for me jumping on today as well, other than to give you guys some permission to do some stitching while I'm chatting, is I want to give you a little bit of the history of my channel, of Catkin and Lillie, where it all came from and where I'm going from here, because I'm about to start a very exciting new chapter in my life and I wanted to share all about that with you. But first, let's talk about this gorgeous whip and then I'll get into some stitching. So this is the Fisher King by Long Dog Samplers. I will pop in a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished. I've obviously got a fairly small start here. The whole project is about 77,000 something odd stitches. So it's going to be a while that I'm working on this one. I've currently done, this is 1.99%. So we're going to hit a milestone today because I will be hitting 2%. And that is 1,535 stitches. So it'll be fun to see how many we can put in today on this one. So as you can see, it's one single colour. I've got my thread here and I'm using DMC 3768. So it's a lovely, it's a sort of steely blue colour. Really, really pretty on this very, very lovely fabric, which is a 40 count. So this is my first Long Dog sampler and it's also my first project on 40 count. So very exciting. The fabric is Light Sanditon by Swan Bay Fabrics. It's an absolute delight, this fabric. It really is. But let's get into some stitching and I can tell you a little bit more as we go. I think we need to get into some stitching. So I'm going to use, I've already got my threads here cut to, usually I've got, these are cut to 50 centimetres because I'm just using one strand, which means that I can, I don't know if you can see this, I'm just going to separate one strand off of here with my needle and then I can just pull that out and that's ready to go. Now I don't normally like pulling my threads out like that if it's longer than this because they kind of go curly, but you can see this one hasn't really, this one's fine. So we'll thread this up and then I will actually, before I start stitching, I will zoom it in a little bit so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. What I'll do, I'll start my thread on and I think we're going to stitch, I've got a little castle here. Castle, turret, tower, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But that's going to come down and join on to this piece here. So let's see what we can work down that one there. So I'm going to start stitching here. So I'm just going to run my thread in. So I will zoom in as soon as I start stitching because then I'll be able to work out what level of zoom I think we're going to need so that you can see what I'm doing and so that I am not stitching off of camera, because that would be pretty unhelpful. Oh, that's come out already. That is a great start, isn't it? Fine, I'll go in the other side. See if that's any better. It's because this is a very large piece of fabric and because I'm stitching in hand, this is actually the worst bit, is wrangling the fabric for my first stitch. Actually, it's not so bad when I'm trying to do it not on camera. I'll anchor this one in and then I think we'll get ourselves a little bit more zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing. Right, let's have a little play with the zoom. I will be back with you as soon as I get this sorted. Okay, let's go with this. We'll see how it works out. It's been a little while since I've done a stitch with me, so yeah, hopefully it will all go okay. So this is an unusually large piece of fabric, and I think I've yet to work out exactly how I'm wrangling it when I'm stitching. It's always the way. At the moment I've got it rolled up at the bottom, but I might have to switch it and roll it from the side. But hey ho, we shall see. I'll just double check I've got my pattern here. So I'm stitching this, I'm stitching it from Pattern Keeper. I popped the PDF into Pattern Keeper, which worked absolutely fine. The only downside is I do understand that sometimes Pattern Keeper doesn't play super nice with some long dogs. I don't know if it's all of them or just some of them, but I have printed the paper pattern as well, just so that I can double check everything. Because I believe it's only on the page breaks that it does occasionally lose columns or rows. And in fact, I think I've had a look down, and somewhere down at the bottom of the first page, I think it has lost a whole row of stitching that looks like it's actually missing on Pattern Keeper. So obviously I'm going to have to be very careful with that. But I was forewarned about that, so yes. So I had many deliberations before starting this about what fabric I was going to do, what threads I was going to use, whether I wanted to go variegated. I've seen so many beautiful long dog options. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of choice out there. And I guess I've gone quite simple in the end with this. Just gone for the one DMC colour on what is a fairly neutral fabric. It's actually one of my absolute favourites at the moment. So this is Light Sanditon from Swan Bay, and it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I own it in, gosh, 3 or 4 different counts. I think I might have, no, maybe only 3. I think I've got 32 count, 36 count and 40 count. That's how much I like this fabric. And I'm also really enjoying just using the single colour because, well, it's just easy, isn't it? Goodness me, so easy. Just pick a thread, pick where you're stitching from, and off you go. So yes, no changing colours. Yeah, really, really enjoying it. And I think the reason in the end I decided not to do variegated with this particular project was that you can see you've got some quite big blocks of stitching. A lot of it is more open, but there's also these quite big blocks, and I just felt I was going to spend too much time working out my path or wondering if the variegated looked okay. So yeah, I just decided in the end it would be much easier if I just did a single colour. Just to stop me overthinking it, because that's, yeah, definitely something that I do tend towards. But I thought I'd stitch this one today, as I say, partly because it's just a really lovely project. I thought it'd be fun to stitch for a little bit and see the progress on it. But also because it's so easy to stitch, apart from possibly the risk of me not being able to see what I'm doing because it's on the 40 count. It's a tiny bit further away from me than it would probably be if I was stitching off camera. So there is a tiny risk that I'm going to end up in the wrong holes, but I think we're fine. But as I say, otherwise it's quite a nice easy stitch. I thought it would give me a nice little sort of backdrop of stitching so that I can chat, as I say, a little bit about the history of Catkin and Lillie and where that all started, and as I say, all the exciting developments that are coming up. And I hope you've got some stitching as well, so that you can get a little bit done. It's not like I'm doing the most exciting stitching. I know often when I do Stitch With Me's, I quite like to share, what I'm doing, or if I'm dealing with confetti, or, there's usually some little tips and bits and pieces that I can throw in along the way, which there's not much to say about this one probably. It's kind of just stitching. So hopefully that will give me a chance to chat about other things. So just to go really right back to the beginning, I started cross-stitching as a child. I'm not quite sure how early, but certainly early in my teens I was cross-stitching, taught by my mum. And I stitched for quite a while, in fact all the way up to and even a little bit while I was actually at university. And then I kind of stopped. And I think this is actually, it's quite a common story that people learn to cross-stitch and then for one reason or another they end up taking a little bit of a break. And I did, probably about 10 years or so. So yeah, a fairly decent break from cross-stitching, but it drew me back in. I came back to it eventually. I'm not 100% sure why. It was in about 2018, and I think I just kind of went, I used to cross-stitch. I wonder why I don't do that anymore. So I went and found something and picked it up. I don't know what it was that I first did when I got back into it. I mean, as I say, that was quite a few years ago now, and now it's such a huge part of my life. It actually literally is my life. And yeah, I can't imagine not cross-stitching. I cross-stitch every single day, even if it's a little bit, and usually it's quite a lot. And it's gone from, working on probably just one whip at a time to multiple whips. And we all know that feeling. And I think I better just cross my progress off here before I move on, so I don't make a mistake. There we go. And it wasn't very long, actually, after I started, I'd come back to cross-stitching, that I thought, I quite fancy designing patterns. I just thought it would be fun. I didn't have something in mind. It wasn't because I wanted to do a specific thing. It wasn't because I couldn't find what I wanted to stitch. There was plenty of stuff out there I wanted to stitch. There's even more now. Goodness me, the choice just is ridiculous. But yeah, really no other reason than I thought it would be really, really fun to give it a go. I've always been pretty creative like that, and I just fancied it. And yeah, just dived in. So that was 2019, I think, because I know that I started a shop on Etsy in 2019 with my very first patterns for sale. So yeah, that's obviously when I started. And oh my goodness, looking back at those first patterns now, they were so simple. It's so crazy. Most of those early patterns are not still on my shop on Etsy. I still have the shop. And there are some earlier ones still on there, but definitely not the very, very earliest ones. So I would say, I guess I thought pattern design, I thought it'd be fun, and I also thought, well, how hard can it be? Yeah, it's actually quite hard. Definitely a learning curve. In fact, I would say still massively on that learning curve, if I'm honest. Oh my goodness. This is actually where, this is the hardest bit. This was not the best project to bring. If I have to try and find where I'm going. No, I think we're surviving on there. So yes, pattern design. It is fun though. I was right about that. It is good fun. So I started with that, and that was the point. Obviously, I had to choose a name for my shop, for what I was doing. And Catkin and Lillie was born after much deliberation. I'm not even sure. Sometimes I'm not even sure how much I like it, but I don't know. I think it has become very entangled with me at this point. And it was designed because, or chosen because my dad used to call me Catkin when I was little. But I did confuse things slightly because I spelt it as a catkin would be spelt with a C, and I spell my name with a K. So it's, yeah, slightly confusing perhaps. And I've often been asked who Lillie is, and unfortunately there is no Lillie. That bit of the name came from the fact that I was born in May, and the flower for the month of May is Lily of the Valley. Oh, we have our first on-camera frog, as I've just stitched across the row and forgot to leave a gap for the window. That was going to happen at some point. Oh, I have to rethread. There we go. It's fine. So let's put that window in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Only the tiniest of little froglets. So anyway, yes, that is where it came from. Catkin for what my dad called me, and Lily for Lily of the Valley, which is the flower for the month of May, which is when I was born. So, and no actual Lily, not a real person or thing or animal. But then, having started doing patterns, designing and selling patterns, which admittedly did not do very well right at the start. I'm quite pleased they do fairly well these days. But I then decided that I really enjoyed learning about cross stitch, and in particular sharing what I'd learned about cross stitch. I think I've always had that kind of leaning towards being really super curious and wanting to learn more, and then wanting to share that with people. So I think I've always enjoyed that educational aspect of it. And I think it was maybe then no surprise that I started my YouTube channel with the aim of doing tip and tutorial videos. And I started that, I had a look back, I started that in 2022. And I uploaded my video, actually, my very first video in June 2022. So it's actually just been my 3-year anniversary of YouTube, which is exciting. And I didn't start with floss tube, which would have been around in 2022, but I didn't know about it. I started because I wanted to do tutorial videos. And it was a pretty slow start again on there. I think I've learnt to be very patient and very persistent with growing all of this. So it took a little bit for my YouTube channel to grow. And I think it definitely helped when I then discovered floss tube and realised that I could do those videos as well. So I don't actually know when I started doing floss tubes. I should have looked at that one. I don't know. I think I'd been on YouTube for a little while. No more than a year, I don't think. So then I jumped into doing floss tubes. So I was doing some, and still am, some floss tube videos, some tip and tutorial videos. And that was going really well. And the pattern sales were doing really well. And I started to wonder if I could maybe do this thing full-time-ish. I have a very lovely husband, Dr. Tim, who is not a medical doctor, he's a PhD kind of doctor. I'm lucky enough, he's got a pretty decent job, so I had been gradually reducing the number of hours that I worked in my day job, I guess. I've been working as a hospital pharmacist since 2001, so for quite a long time. But I'd reduced the number of days I worked. I was down to 2 days, and I was really thinking maybe I can make this. I mean, it's the dream, really. And it was a dream for a very long time of, could I make cross stitch my full-time job? And so I started thinking about growing community and what I could do to sort of expand what I was doing. And very scarily, I decided to launch a Patreon membership. And that was just in November last year. And it has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. I can't tell you how much it has just been a joy to see that community grow. And I'll come back to that in a little bit and tell you more about that. But yeah, that finally gave me, I guess, the final piece in the puzzle that I figured that I could maybe do this. I could do this full time. Enough to replace, at this point, as I say, I was only working 2 days a week at the hospital. And I was like, maybe I can build it to the point where it can be enough of an income that I can be happy with. And I get to just do more and more of what I love. And that is now a reality. The income is not a reality yet, unfortunately. But I handed in my notice at the hospital, and I actually had my last day of work on Thursday in the week just gone. And I'm filming this on Saturday. So yeah, this is still pretty new to me. It's kind of still sinking in, to be honest, that I am done with that actually going to work, and now my work is full-time cross stitch. So yes, very exciting. A little bit nervous about that, but mostly exciting because I have so many ideas of things that I want to do that, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And not least, I would like to get back to doing some more pattern design, because that's where this all started. this is, you've now heard my backstory of where this started, and it started with me designing patterns, and I've really not done a huge amount over the last at least year, if not a bit longer. I've really not done much. I think as I've ramped up doing more things on YouTube and launching my Patreon membership, the pattern designing has definitely fallen a little bit by the wayside. And I'm sad about that because I really enjoyed it. So I am very, very excited to be able to get back to doing some more of that. I've already got some lovely summer-themed ideas, things on the way. I've got possibly my largest pattern that I've ever designed, which is going to involve summer words and summer motifs. So yeah, that's going to be good. And then some bee-themed things because, yeah, I love bee-themed things. I think a lot of other stitchers do as well. So that's where I'm kind of going with those thoughts. And then here on YouTube, obviously you may be completely new to my channel, in which case, welcome. But you may also be a returning viewer, in which case thank you for coming back and spending some more time with me. So what I'm hoping for the YouTube channel is to keep my floss tube episodes every fortnight. So there'll be one floss tube. Actually, I'm going to run this in. I'm getting to a very tiny bit of thread. So hopefully keep the floss tubes one every 2 weeks. That's the plan. And then tutorials on the kind of off alternate weeks from that. At a moment I thought I might have forgot my scissors then, but no, we're fine. So yes, probably go for floss tubes and tutorials or tip videos or all that sort of thing every couple of weeks. And then stitch with me. So obviously I am here doing a stitch with me, and I would very much like to do more of these because I know a lot of you enjoy this, and I mean I enjoy it. It's definitely fun. Lost where I am. Over there. Even if I'm not doing anything exciting, I mean I just enjoy watching other stitchers, kind of half watching and just listening to them while I'm getting some stitching done. So I've had quite a few requests for more stitch with me's, so that's definitely the plan, and I will do more, I would say, interesting stitch with me's as well. I'll definitely do some where we're doing a little bit more interesting stitching, so I can do more confetti and metallics and backstitch and all of those things. Which I think will be really, really fun. So more stitch with me's. And I've also got a new little video series that I've recorded the first one. And in fact, it's out on my Patreon membership already, but not out on YouTube yet. That will be starting on Wednesdays. And they'll be potentially weekly, but they might be every 1 to 2 weeks to start with. And that is stitchy snippets. So they're just going to be really quick little videos, probably around the 5-minute mark, where I'm just going to answer a frequently asked question, something that's I've just seen cropped up a few times or that I've been asked, or just my little hot take on something, or just a really quick little tip, not an in-depth tutorial, but just something quick I feel like I can share that might be helpful to people. So as I say, the first one of those will be going out on Wednesday. And, well, I can let you know, it's going to be, I'm starting with one of the hot take videos, and it's my take on gold needles. I've talked a lot about needles in the past, but yeah, I thought I'd start with that, and we will see where we go. So that's all of the YouTube stuff. So there will be more things happening on YouTube, which I think is going to be really exciting. But then, oh no, needle, come back. I hate that when you put the needle in and it immediately falls back out. It's because I'm trying to count and not end up half a stitch off. Oh my goodness, and I like this linen, but counting is hard. Okay. But I did say I would talk a little bit more about my Patreon membership, because I'll be honest, that's where I feel like the best stuff is going to happen over there. I'm absolutely not taking what I'm doing away from YouTube. Absolutely not. And there will be more. There will be more stuff on YouTube. I've randomly missed a stitch on here, but that's fine. That's very fixable. But I am conscious that my Patreon members are really, supporting me hugely, and I want to give really good value over in that membership, and I think it is. And I would say I hope you'll forgive me talking about it, but honestly, I absolutely love it, and I'm not ashamed to chat about it and about how wonderful it is. So I'll let you know a little bit about what's going on in the membership, so you can have a little think. Well, you may be watching this and you might already be a Patreon member, in which case, thank you so much. But also, if you're not, you can have a little think whether it's something that you might enjoy. And before I dive in, really, for complete transparency, the minimum membership is £2 a month. And I've got it set up such that, half a stitch. I've got it set up so that you can pay £2, you can pay £4, you can pay £6. You can actually pretty much pay any amount that you want to per month. And everybody gets the same. Which is a bit different to a lot of other Patreon memberships, but it was something that I felt really strongly about this, that I didn't want anything to be, other than having to pay a monthly membership fee, I didn't want things paywalled. Things that you couldn't access because you didn't want to have to pay for a higher tier. So this is very much pay what you can and what you think it's worth. And that can be £2 a month, and that would be fantastic. And what do you get for your £2 or more per month? Well, if you enjoy the floss tube videos, as I say, oh, no, not. Oh, goodness. Oh, we have a situation. Whew, fortunately, not too bad of a situation. So yes, if you enjoy the floss tube videos that I do, then I do not quite a floss tube video, but on the weeks when I don't have a floss tube video out, I do rock up in the Patreon with a little video that I record called Coffee and Chat, and it's just me chatting about a few things. It's not a full-on, this is everything I've been working on, but I will bring some stitching to share. So if you want little updates on my stitching in between the floss tubes, then I usually bring some bits and pieces. So you do get to see things, you know, a bit earlier than on floss tube. So have those updates in between. Just trying to see, it looked like I had a bit of a fabric gap there, but I don't think there's a dodgy stitch. I might have to look at that later. There looks like there's a tiny fabric gap there. I might just check in on that later when I can peek a bit more closely at it. I think it's fine. Hang on. Sorry, you can't see this now. It looks okay. Hang on. Sorry. Gone off camera while I'm working out what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything dodgy. What I sometimes do is just tweak the stitches a bit. There we go. See, that's gone. I've just moved the little legs around of the crosses. It's got rid of that little gap. Anyway, where was I at? Coffee and Chat, yes. So that is, at the moment, that's on alternate Tuesdays. So as I say, I will share, I kind of share what's got me excited, whether that's a new bit of stash, some stitching that I've been particularly enjoying, maybe it's actually a finish, new start, whatever it might be. I will do a little video letting you know what's going on. We also have a live Q&A that happens once a month, which actually, as you watch this, it will have probably just happened, because I suspect this video, I'm recording this on Saturday, and the Q&A is tonight. So I think this video will be going out on Sunday. So we've just had a live Q&A probably. And those are so much fun. That's just, as I say, it's live, it's only me on camera, but any of the Patreon members can rock up, ask me anything, cross-stitch related, not cross-stitch related, just anything you're curious about, you can come and ask your questions. So that's usually a lot of fun. We usually have a stitch along ongoing, which has generally been other people's patterns, not mine, because, as I say, I haven't been doing a whole lot of designing. And we are actually just about to start a new stitch along. So we've done ones in the past from Pigeon Coop Designs, and we did Spring Quaker from Primrose Cottage Stitches. And actually we are sticking with Primrose Cottage Stitches for the next one. We are going to do Stitching Rules, which is a brand new release from them, and it's absolutely delightful. Right, I'm just going to take my thread. I want to get over here, so I'm just going to run. I'm going to run my thread under the back, because I've finished here and I want to be over here, because this now joins up and I want to start over here so I can join this line up. So yes, we are going to be starting Stitching Rules on the 1st of July, or any other stitchy themed pattern. If you don't want to stitch that one, you can stitch something else. So we've already got a few people stitching something else stitchy themed. So yeah, we're just finalising all the details for that. I've been picking out fabric. I might have to order some more fabric. It's always the way. So yes, I might do that. there are some free patterns available. That's something that I definitely plan to do more of. Linked with getting back into doing some more designing, then I definitely want to make more free patterns available within the Patreon membership. And obviously also good discounts on the shop, and launch patterns, there tends to be discounts. I often give away patterns as well when they're launched. Sometimes we do a giveaway, some free patterns. We have giveaways occasionally other than that. So whenever we reach a Stitchy Friend milestone, then we do a giveaway. We've actually just done one fairly recently for 125 Stitchy Friends. So we'll be doing another one when we get to 150 Stitchy Friends, which might be a little while, but obviously that'll be nice when we get to it. What else? Oh, there's some lovely chat threads, so you can connect with other stitchers, and I think this is something that people are really enjoying. I'm really enjoying it. Is that we've got some lovely chat threads, so you can share new stash, you can share new starts, you can share whips, finishes, all of that stuff. And yes, the downside is you might find yourself getting enabled. And we have a chat thread also for help and advice, so obviously I will jump in there, but everybody else is fantastic in there jumping in. We've got some more experienced cross stitchers, we've got some newer cross stitchers, and there's nothing like asking the little hive mind for help and advice. I think we're an absolutely wonderful group of stitchers in there at the moment. So we have all of that, and you get early access to videos as well. So the things that are on YouTube, I haven't always managed it, but hopefully this will be much better. Now I'm full-time with all of this, is early access to YouTube videos, because that means you get them ad-free. I mean, I would love to reach a point where I didn't put ads on my videos, but I think you'll all hopefully appreciate that with this now being this is my full-time job, that I'm supporting myself with this now, so I do have ads on my videos. But hey, who knows? If I did well enough in the future to turn those off, I would absolutely do that. It's just a delight to be able to do what I love, what I'm absolutely passionate about. And actually, I would say I'm pretty lucky, because my job at the hospital as a pharmacist, I loved that job. I will very much miss it. But I think I'm incredibly lucky to be able to go from having my career in pharmacy, to which I loved, to potentially having a career in cross stitch, which I also love. Probably slightly more. So to have 2 jobs that I have absolutely adored, that's really pretty special. Wow, so let me see, where are we at? Oh, okay. Double checking that I'm not just stitching and waffling for so long and suddenly 3 hours have gone past and you guys are all maybe enjoying the stitching, but also possibly need a bit of a break. Oh, I'm in danger of not spotting the gaps on this one. I think I've just about managed to get my windows in the right place on this little tower. And hey, I feel like we've done really well Right, that's one there. I need to leave a gap. Oh, it's leaving these gaps on here. I'm not sure this project is coming out to play on Stitch With Me's. It's quite a hard one to do. She says, having put in, honestly, quite a lot of stitches on this one, probably. Although, when I come to edit it, if I work out I may have been, goodness only knows if I've wandered off camera however many times. I do my best. I don't expect most of you are watching particularly intently. I'm very much hoping that you're stitching on something fun. In fact, let me know what you've been working on, because I think I'll probably wrap this up as I come towards the end of this thread. And just shows you how much progress you can get as well. I've done 2 threads. It'll be fun to see how many stitches that is, but yeah, let me know what you've been working on. Let me know if you are also a long dog aficionado. I suspect this will not be my last long dog. I'm enjoying it so much. I absolutely can see myself stitching more of these in future. There are so many people stitching Saga at the moment, which I very nearly did, and honestly, part of the reason I didn't stitch Saga was because so many other people are stitching it, and I do tend to be that person that if everybody's going left, I kind of want to go right. It's just how my brain goes. It's a little bit, my brain is a bit of a rebel, to be honest. But yeah, I have plenty of other projects. If you've been watching my floss tubes and you have projects in mind that you want to see me stitch on, I'm going to guess, what do I think you guys would like to see? I think my full coverage Dragon Race Into the Night. I think that one will be popular. That one's definitely going to come out to play because that is always fun to share, stitching on a full coverage. So I think that one's definitely going to come out to play. And then maybe some Fancy Ladies. I have stitched on Fancy Ladies in the past. All right, I think I might leave it there because I think, yeah, I'm then getting into a slightly different section. So I probably could get a couple more stitches, but I think that's a good place to pause that, to be honest. So yes, Fancy Ladies I think would be a good shout to stitch. But yeah, let me know if there's any particular projects or particular things that you want to see me working on. Then do let me know. We've got a bit of leg show in there now. It's quite warm today, quite warm. So I'm actually getting to wear a dress at the moment. So, well, that's looking great. We were up here. Should we see how many stitches? Because I have not been marking this off as I went. So let's mark this off on Pattern Keeper and see. You can take a little guess if you like, because I think I stitched from, where do we start? About here? Somewhere, maybe? So we've managed to fill in this tower and attach it down the bottom here, which is definitely the aim. So we have done, oh, no, one more row. We have done 125 stitches. That's pretty impressive. 125 stitches in... Actually, that's not that... I mean, that's slow going for me, to be honest. Actually, I've now realised that's slow going because we've been going for 50 odd minutes and I can get up to 200 stitches per hour. So that shows you how much slower I stitch when I'm on camera. But hey, it has been lovely chatting to you all. I hope you've enjoyed it. And yes, let me know what you thought about all of that. I'd love to see you come and join the Patreon membership if you think that sounds like fun. Otherwise, just keep on watching the YouTube videos, subscribe to the channel, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.